Yo, welcome to the No Pick Show where there's no hand holding. We do with facts and emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you haven't already. YouTube isn't the best when it comes to notifying people that new videos have been uploaded, so it's very important to hit that bell notification so you can know when we go live, when the new videos been posted, shorts, etc. So today I want to talk about Josh Giddey. As you already know, restricted free agency has been terrible. Free agency as a whole has been terrible, and we could be looking at the end of free agency as we once knew it. Free agency, in my opinion, will now start to trickle into training camp. So looking at Josh Giddey's current situation with the Chicago Bulls, Josh Giddey won $30 million. He see Brandon Ingram getting $40 million. He see some of these other guys, some of these other contracts that have been handed out. Herb Jones just got 20. Alex Caruso just got his salary is going to start at 18, but I think he got a 3-year extension that's going to go into the 20s. Josh Giddey's younger. Finished the year really strong, has been a part of very good teams in OKC, and one would say he has some upside. Josh Giddey's pretty much like a do-it-all connector type player. For example, a lot of people think Dyson Daniels offensively can turn into Josh Giddey. Personally, I hope Herb Jones offensively turns into Josh Giddey. Now, some rival teams have been sniffing around Josh Giddey, like, yo, what's up to sign a trade? One of those teams being the Warriors, because supposedly the Bulls had some interest in Kuminga. And I don't know how Kuminga would fit with Patrick Williams. I don't know. Maybe Patrick Williams would go to a third team in this scenario. But here's why it's interesting for the Pelicans. Because Josh Giddey could potentially take his qualifying offer and just say, all right, whatever. I'm going into unrestricted free agency. So if you're the Pelicans and you're looking at Josh Giddey and you're saying, hey, look, we looking for a quote unquote backup guard or a traditional point guard. Even let's just say if you want to just take guard out of the equation and say you're looking for a connector type and you want Herb Jones to be able to just excel at what he already does best, and that's defense. Or you want to say, hey, look, if things work out with Josh Giddey over Micah Peavy or anybody else that you believe still has some upside and maybe a little younger than Herb Jones. I think Herb Jones is going to be 26 when the season starts, and I think he'll be about 29 when that extension really kicks in. So if you're the Pelicans, you say, look, we believe in Josh Giddey. We like what Josh Giddey got going on. We think he could be one of those connector type players to bring this offense together, and we don't have to see as much point Zion. We don't have to see as much Jordan Poole at the point. It gives Jeremiah Fields a little more time to refine his game. And George, I think Jeremiah Fields is about to be 18, so it gives him more time and more runway to be the best he could be. Okay, it makes some sense on the Pelicans end. It makes some sense because you can go to Josh Giddey and say, look, man, they're not respecting your mind. The Bulls say they don't want to go past like 20 million. We'll give you 25 million. Let's say you say, Josh, this is what we'll do. We'll give you 3 years. Let's say 3 years, 80 million, with the last year being like a player option, right? 3 years, 80 million, with the last year being a player option. That's better than the qualifying offer he most likely to take right now. Because what if he goes out there in Chicago and gets hurt? Not to mention, you saw what the Warriors did with Kuminga. What if Billy Donovan? I think Billy Donovan's in Chicago. What if Billy Donovan say, yeah, look, Josh, we got a bunch of point guards now, bro. We got Kobe White. We got Ayo. We just brought Trey onto the roster. You going to have to sit down tonight, dog. You look like your ankle hurt. You look sick. We need you to sit down tonight. You know what I'm saying? Teams play a lot of games when it comes to not wanting to pay guys. So, and who knows what his value will be next season. This was probably the time for Josh Giddey to get paid. But yeah, he's coming off some quality years in OKC. He went to Chicago, kind of figured it out as time progressed. Wasn't initially a easy fit, seamless fit. They had way too many ball handlers initially. And Josh Giddey, he kind of found his path down the line. Not to mention, every time Josh Giddey plays the fucking Pelicans in the New Orleans arena, he kills them. He just kills the Pelicans, right? Also, he's very familiar with the New Orleans area. He likes hanging out at the boot. Shout out to the boot.
Oh my fucking God! Fucking Josh Giddey!
These not like some mind-blowing numbers, but from what we thought of Josh Giddey, who we thought Josh Giddey was, When he played the Pelicans, this motherfucker just turned into like Peja Stojakovic. Like he just becomes incredible out of nowhere, right? Look, these are his stat line the last few times he played the Pelicans in OKC, right? Anytime, well, when he was with the OKC Thunder, when he was playing in New Orleans, right? Let's say, last 7 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. What else we got? 17 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, right? No points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, right? 20 points, 10 assists, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 17, 7 and 4, 19, 7 and 4, 15, 9 and 4, 25, 9 and 4. Like this dude was a fucking animal when he plays the Pelicans. I don't know what it is. Maybe he just loved the city, loved the arena, New Orleans, the metropolitan place. Maybe he felt like he fits in. This should be home for him. Maybe that's, why you would bring him to the Pelicans. Now, of course, this deal will be contingent upon them taking back DeJounte Murray, of course, right? Why the Bulls do it? Well, the Bulls are in a bit of a gap here. You got Kobe White, who was a pending free agent. You got Ayo, pending free agent. Nikola Vucevic, who's a pending free agent. I spoke about all three of those guys in prior episodes. So they got a lot of salary that could potentially be falling off the books, which means that they won't necessarily have tradable salary moving forward. Chicago is a big market, but for a team like that, I don't really know if you're going to be attracting free agents anyway. You don't want to pay the free agent you got in Josh Giddey. So maybe that's why they're trying to keep the books clean, because they think they got a chance to sign someone who I don't know. But yeah, so why they would do it? Maybe you give them DeJounte Murray and maybe future first, and you allow them to not have to play DeJounte and maybe rebuild some of his value and use him as that big salary that they'll send out with picks to attract a major free agent next year or, next summer or beyond. Because DeJounte Murray after this year will only have about 2 years left on his contract. And I already explained to you why the Pelicans do it. Another reason why the Bulls might consider it is because the Bulls already have way too many guards that need playing time. Again, you got Kobe White, you got Ayo, you just signed Trey. I think they signed the guy, I think he's from China. He's like one of those fan favorite type players. I'm not sure he'll get any PT. He'll probably be in the G League. But, they just have a gluttony of guards. You want to give Patrick Williams that runway. And you also got Noah. They just brought in Noah, if I'm not mistaken. So they got some guys that need some run. And they don't really need all that money, like really holding down their books for the next 5 years or so. Like, Josh Giddey, I think he already turned down the contract for like 4 years, $80 million. They just disrespecting the man's mind. The man got kids to feed. He not taking that petty ass money. You know what I'm saying? He not taking that chump change. Josh Giddey. Have you seen Josh Giddey's hair? That's a man that, he knows where he's going in life. That man, he got ambition. So I don't think, he going to be too keen on coming back to the Bulls organization while those negotiations are going on. Again, you see what's happening with Kuminga. You see what's happening with Cam Thomas. I don't really know what's going on with Quentin Grimes. It's a lot of things happening right there in the 76ers. He's kind of been a guy that's been flying a little bit below the radar. But yeah, man, I think it would be interesting for the Pelicans. It's something you at least make the call and see what you can do. If you're the Pelicans again and you're able to get off of DeJounte Murray's contract for a guy who can actually play and who actually plays well, who's been a part of winning organizations, who brings some basketball IQ, who also fits a need. Josh Giddey can shoot a little bit. He can orchestrate the offense, is a great connector, passer, player type guy. I think it makes a lot of sense. And you probably save a few dollars. If you're paying him, let's say you start his salary off at between 25 and 27 million. I think DeJounte Murray's making about 30 this year. So you're saving some money. You know what I'm saying? You're saving a few dollars. You get further away from that tax. And if you just do a 1-for-1 trade, you keep that roster spot open. Ideally, you send out DeJounte Murray and maybe a Jordan Hawkins to open up even more salary cap, and maybe you take a chance on a guy like Bol or just anybody. I'm a fan of Amir Coffey, but you just give someone else the opportunity for that last roster spot or two. Or hey, fuck, maybe you keep it open so you can do an uneven trade throughout the season. But that's been today's show, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. What do y'all think about Josh Giddey, aka Fabio, aka the Joker? Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'm out. Peace.